Well, you know, I like to get out into people's homes, but I'm sort of in the home. I'm in a garage, right? And I know you can see this beautiful car behind me, which we're gonna show you a little bit closer in a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about. But right now, out in Petrolia Way with Keith Jaques. Keith, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And in the garage here, and I know you can't see it right now. We're going to show some more of the garage in a little bit, but we got some new projects underway. And you're from out Petrolia Way, though. You're raised out
Yes,
here.
I was born and raised here, just outside of Petrolia.
Yeah.
And grew up in Petrolia my whole life.
Cool. I think I know where it comes from, but what was your first taste of what I like to call cool cars?
Actually, I grew up around antique farm equipment and tractors and everything. And then when I started getting older and getting closer to getting my license, my dad had a 62 Chev pickup down behind the barn that was my grandfather's. And we ended up redoing it, and that was my first vehicle.
Wow.
So in the 90s when I was in high school, I was driving a 1962 Chev pickup.
How did that go? Were your friends jealous, or?
I got bugged a little bit and that, but then I think some were jealous, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I've always, since being mid-teens, early teens, I've always loved the old cars, and well, the 34 Ford has always been my favorite, and now I finally own one.
Yeah, that's great.
So.
And you learned these, like there's a lot of skill, and like I turn in light bulbs to the left. I'm not that guy, but you learned that from Dad, or?
From Dad, and we have a farm drainage business that guys were always working on equipment, and growing up around it, I learned things, and then I went through school, took automotive in high school and 1 year of college for automotive, so got to know the ins and outs.
You must, I know you're really involved in the car community, you know, you go to I see you going to events all the time, and I think, man, I'm busy. I don't know how you find the time to go to them all, but you seem to, I guess, make the time.
Make the time. I try to hit as much as possible. Luckily, I have a wife that understands, and she doesn't go to all of them with me, but she does go to quite a few.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been a family thing that growing up doing, and just trying to keep it going with my wife and my son.
Yeah. I was going to say, so you have a family. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name's Justina.
Yeah, what does she do?
She's actually has a cleaning business.
Oh, okay. So she's busy. And then you say you have a boy.
Yep. I have a 19-year-old son.
Yeah.
Tyler.
And is he, so what's he doing right now? He's in school, or he's graduated?
No, he's graduated, and he's actually working for his stepfather in carpentry.
Oh, okay. Nice. And is he tinkering with cars as well?
Yes, he has a 1991 Mercury Cougar.
Oh, right.
That he tinkers with.
So this must be their projects like father and son time that you must really appreciate.
Yes, I enjoy it. Usually if something's happening on it, he's still learning. He calls me and we talk about it over the phone, or he'll be out with a friend and his friend's car's got an issue, so he'll call me to see if I can try to help figure it out. And whenever his car needs fixed, he comes here and we do it together and that. So
yeah, you got a nice sized garage here, so you certainly got
lucked out. I actually rent this place. I don't own it.
Okay.
It was a good close family friend and wasn't being used, and I made the deal that I could use it, and it works out nice.
So you do like the body work of cars too, or you kind of
I'm more the mechanical work on the engine and fool with the engines, and that as you had talked, the project sitting beside me, that's my nephew's car that used to belong to my father, and he's been working slowly on the body and everything. My first truck, I did do body and that, but I wasn't the best.
Yeah.
No, that's one that body work to me, I'm not the best at.
Yeah. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the furthest, I'm curious, that you've traveled to go to say, I got to be at that car show?
I would almost have to say Fort Erie.
Oh, really?
It was the dream drive from St. Thomas to Fort Erie. We didn't do it this year. sadly my car was broke down. I had to fix it. We did it the 2 years prior. Me and my wife, we'd leave on a Saturday morning at 7. And what the dream drive is you drive Highway 3 from St. Thomas to Fort Erie. There's different stops in between. And you kind of do it on your own. And we did it with another friend and his wife. So we actually had 2 cars. And it was nice because you'd be cruising along, there'd just be the 2 of us. Then all of a sudden we'd be in a pack of like 20.
Right.
And then it'd be back down to the 2 of us. And then we'd meet 1 or 2. And then you'd meet like 15, 20 cars coming at you.
Right.
And we'd end up in Fort Erie about 5 o'clock the Saturday night, stay the Saturday night there, and then we drive back Sunday.
Wow. That's quite
And that.
like, how far is that? One way?
Both years I was about 650 miles on the car for the weekend.
Wow. Some people I would think would say, I don't want to put the miles on my old car.
Some people say that, but I have them to drive.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. You're like, why wouldn't I drive that?
This one actually I just got this past April, and it had 2,300 miles on it when I got it. It now has 4,300 miles on it.
Right. Good for you.
Even with a little breakdown, I still put over 2,000 miles on it this summer.
Yeah. There's something about, I mean, okay, like even people who don't own one, they just love a shiny, cool, classic car. But there's more to it really than going on. Tell people what that is.
Well, what I find it relaxing just to go jump in the car, go out for a drive, crank the radio, and just cruise. And you see the people's faces. It almost brightens their day when they see a classic car or a muscle car. You can just see them smile, and I don't know how many times I'm driving down the road and you get thumbs up.
Right.
And it's also keeping the automotive heritage alive.
Yeah.
In redoing it. So a lot of miles still left, and
yeah, a lot of miles left in you still.
Hopefully.
But I mean, there's a community side to it all, right, in this car world. I know especially around here, like you've been involved in different groups and events, and it's a real way to give back into the community as well.
Yes. Sarnia-Lambton has always been a big car community. There's always been different clubs around, and like right when I was 16, as soon as I got my license and had my grandfather's truck, I joined Sarnia Street Machines.
Right.
And I was part of that up until 2000, just after the big Can-Nat show.
Right.
And helped with both of them and that. And I just love driving the cars, going to the car shows. And usually every car show is supporting a charity or a club in the area that...
Something local.
Yeah, you're supporting local.
Yeah.
And that.
And the people, like... It's a social event too, right? You know,
oh, it's one big family.
Right.
Yeah, it's one big family. Everybody gets along, and it's just joys, and the friendships I've made through the car community is unbelievable.
Yeah, some you started many, many years ago that you still have today?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, still got some friends back when I was 16, and there was some of the older guys then. Sadly, they've passed on, but they took kind of me under the wing. So when I see a younger guy come into the community and if they're asking for help, I'm glad to help them and trying just to keep this going for future.
Keep the light on, right? Yeah, and pay it forward, so to speak. And I mean, you say like help somebody out. We're not just talking about talking and giving advice. I've seen pictures of some of you getting together at each other's garages and taking out transmissions and frames and whatever you do.
I actually got a friend that's rebuilding an engine right now, and we were just talking online the one night, a group of us in a group messenger, and he's like, yeah, I'd like to pull the engine, but I don't have help. Well, within an hour, there was 3 of us at his garage, and an hour later, the engine was out.
Right. He knew how to ask, I'd like to do this, but I don't have any help, nudge, nudge, right? So, yeah. But that's the community side to it all, and it's a real feel-good community, right? You know.
Yes.
And you also you've got some exciting things coming up. We're going to talk about, but recently passed, your car was featured in a book that's being put out.
Francesca Paciolucci, sorry, Francesca, put out a book on the cars from the community from SSC, and I was in the book and I was honored to be in that book.
Yeah.
She did an excellent job on it. And
yeah, she put a lot of hard work. I had interviewed her here on the show, and she's just a genuine soul that loves her craft, is very good at it.
Yes, she is very good at it.
And the cars is really her, that's kind of her niche she was talking about there. But a lot of local cars got in there. And then it's also going to Ohana Landing.
Yeah, a percentage of the proceeds from the book are going to Ohana Landing, which was really nice of her.
Yeah, and that's something that, that's an organization or group that you've always liked to support.
Yes, I've always tried to support that. I learned about it through actually the car community.
Right.
And going to be doing an event this next year that will be supporting it too.
Yeah, cool. Now, you just this past Friday, you had a group and an event. Talk about what that was like.
Yes, with Retro Car Events, we did a food drive for 3 Thursdays in a row. We met, the first Thursday was Lambton Mall parking lot. Then Ron from Go Glass gladly opened up his shop for the second Thursday for kind of a cars and coffee. And we met there and accepted food, and the last Thursday we were back in the Lambton Mall parking lot again, but we accepted food for the Inn of the Good Shepherd and K106.3 food drive, so we dropped that off this past Friday morning.
Right.
And we also accepted bags of clothes for River City Vineyard this year.
That's great.
And we filled a 4x8 enclosed trailer with food and clothes.
That's amazing.
It was the car community.
Yeah.
It's the community we're in that we have so many people that love to support.
Yeah. And I know I saw you guys in the Christmas parade. Were you on that?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, so was it really windy? Because I was inside, nice and warm.
It was really windy in certain spots. When you get down by City Hall there in Sarnia, there's like a wind tunnel. And, a couple of us were lucky. We were sitting in behind the car at the back of the float. So we were a little bit blocked, but some of the others up front they were a little cold by the time we got to the end.
But it was great. It had on, I think it was a big hearse, wasn't it, that was on
Yes,
there?
we did actually. Every year we try to pick a movie that has a car in it.
Okay.
That's kind of like one of our members, and our one member has a hearse. So this year we went with Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Disney movie, and we actually had Jack and Sally and the other characters all dressed up on the front of the float. Jack was actually walking.
Right.
And the kids, all we could hear at the back was almost every kid just yelling, "Jack, Jack, can we get a picture? Cool. Can I have a hug?" And it was awesome.
Yeah. And that hearse, is that Ohms? Is that the one from Point Edward?
Nope, that's actually Ian Morley out of Petrolia here.
Oh, okay. All right.
The 1985 Cadillac hearse.
Just like I got a Firebird, right? I got an old 98 Firebird, and I would want. What is it about a hearse? I'll have to get a hold of that guy and talk to him. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but it fit in well, though.
That's what he wanted, and that's what we thought. It went right with the theme of Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, yes, that's a cartoon, and there's only one vehicle in it that's driven by the mayor of Christmastown, but it's a hearse. Yeah. So that's actually how it fit
I thought it was really cool, and I loved when I was shout out to Robert E. Dale, where I was broadcasting the parade from, and it was a really big, like a truck float, I guess you call it, but I noticed the banner, and I thought, boy, like when you have a club or something, you try to come up with a slogan, and the slogan was just "All are welcome."
Yes.
And I thought, how natural to say that. That
is Robin and Rob Marks actually created Retro Car Events and come up with that slogan. Yeah. And I'd like to thank Vince Savo from Lambton Metal Service. They supplied the float for us. Right. And for the parade. Yeah. And I saw you were, I don't know, were you elected to do the video that got put out because nobody else wanted to be in front of the camera? For the trivia crew? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's actually an idea I had been pondering over the last couple of years, and I presented it to them. and they all thought it was a great idea to go with it. So I guess I'm kind of head honcho,
you're the leader of the band of that one.
leading that that event.
Talk about what that is. I know I've got it in my calendar.
So June 1st, 2025, we're going to do a trivia cruise.
Yeah.
And it's going to start in Sarnia, actually at Preferred Towing.
Yeah.
Is going to be our start and finish stop. Thanks to Gary and Tammy for allowing us to use their yard for that. And it's going to be actually a self-guided cruise.
Okay.
So upon registration, it's only $10 a vehicle, and anybody is welcome. It'll be a rain or shine event.
Okay.
We're hoping for shine to get classic cars, and maybe you on your motorcycle.
Yeah, we'll get the bikes out, or even just your daily drives are welcome, right?
And upon registration, you will be given a detailed map with directions of the route, and then you will also be given 10 to 15 trivia questions. That once we're in the process of making the route right now, so once we have the route set, we are actually going to drive it and make up these trivia questions that will be at the different stops on the route, or things you see.
Oh, okay.
So you won't be able to Google the answer. You'll actually
Well,
have to drive. You'll actually have to drive the route and find the answer.
Google gets a bad rap once in a while.
So it's going to go out around Sarnia. We're planning for about a 2-hour cruise.
Nice.
And that there will be stops. You'll be going by gas stations if need gas.
Yeah.
We are in talks with a couple places. One to actually have a barbecue. That would be probably about the middle of the cruise.
Okay.
That will be putting a barbecue on. Registration starts at 9 and goes till 1. And we're hoping to have the answers back in by 3.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do some draws for prizes at
Nice.
3:30.
So kind of like a trivia / poker run / just a nice drive.
Yes. We didn't really want to have to try to find a lot of help to have handing cards out for a poker run.
No, I get it.
So, and I know there's some poker runs around this area, so I didn't want to step on their toes.
Yep.
So that's where we had decided.
Everybody loves trivia.
Yep, and it's on a Sunday, so great Sunday afternoon drive with
yeah.
the family, and like I said, open to anybody. It does not have to be a classic car or motorcycle. Be in the car club, we are kind of aiming at that, but as the slogan
Just
of the
come
group,
on out.
Everyone welcome.
Yeah. And and is that going to Ohana Landing as
Yes,
well?
all the proceeds from registration, 100% of the proceeds are going to Ohana Landing.
That's great. And there'll be some music and who knows what else going on there at the end, right, and stuff. And I know, I know a lot about Ohana Landing. It's close to my heart. But what is it about Ohana Landing that you just really go, that's something I want to support?
With kind of the day and age we're in right now, we know there are people hurting and younger kids that have had a hard time, and they're taking these teens in and transitioning them into helping them with what they need to make it on their own.
Yeah.
And to me, I just believe in that.
Yeah.
And I congratulate them on the job they're doing.
Yeah. Gary and Tammy like to say it's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Yeah.
Right? And they've had some great success with the Ohana Landing from before we saw it built to where it is now to where it's going. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's a great thing. And, it's one of those things we don't always see it a lot because there's a lot of couch surfing going on.
Yes.
But now, and there's some great success stories over there. But I know that Gary and Tammy know that it takes every little bit from the community, and the community's been great support of Ohana Landing. So it's nice to see that can continue.
Yes, if there's something we can help with and doing this, we're doing something we love, but we're also giving back to the community.
Yeah, yeah.
And that.
What does that philosophy for you, Keith, giving back to the community, does that come from mom or dad, or?
Growing up, we've always tried, the family I grew up in, we've always tried to do what we can for our community. We do have a family business, and the community has been great to us. So if we can help back, and I always watch my dad sponsor kids sports teams, everything. We still sponsor. We actually sponsor a jersey and the Flyers in Petrolia.
Okay.
Still.
Nice.
And
Did you play any sports growing up?
no, I didn't.
No.
No.
You were busy playing with the cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about brothers and sisters? Do you have those?
I have 2 brothers.
Yeah.
An oldest is Brian, and the middle is Wayne.
Yeah. What do they do?
Brian actually works in the drainage business with us, and my brother Wayne, he didn't want to play in the mud, so he became an electrician, and he worked for Enbridge.
Oh, okay, nice.
So.
And so you see that, like, they live around here still?
Yes, we actually all are in Petrolia.
Yeah, right. So
Yep.
you're pretty close with each other?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go out cruising together. We all have our own vehicles.
They all, so what do the brothers drive?
My brother Brian has a 76 Monte Carlo.
Nice.
And my brother Wayne has a 2018 Corvette and a 1936 GMC pickup that he's been working on for a little bit, but has had it out driving and now getting it ready to paint.
A 1936. Wow. Yeah. That's, see, I appreciate, like, my car, like, I call myself a Schrider. I shine them and ride them. I don't change the oil, none of that stuff. So I can appreciate, though, which is funny. My dad was that guy. I just never. Give me a mic. I had a Mr. Microphone when I was a kid. But I can appreciate, though, not only just the craft of, like, doing body work to fixing them. You got to be a patient guy.
Yes, there has been times I've walked away from it and had to go back to it. I've got to the point a couple times I was like, okay, I've had enough of this today. I got to walk away and then go back and take a break from it. Just kind of like any hobby.
Yeah, but even to get to the finish, like, I want it done and I want it done now. That's my problem, right?
Then you're pretty well going to go out and buy one.
Well, that's what
buy
I
it
mean,
done.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that requires a lot of patience and a lot of skill. And are you that guy that can? And I've stood with you, at car shows, and the cars are coming in, and I think I've heard you go like, well, and the fins on that are different than the 38 to the 4. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just seem to know.
I know quite a few. Sometimes I'll be within a year or 2 years on the actual year of the car, but back from the 30s to the 70s, a lot of the cars you could really distinguish.
Yeah.
Just by a quick look at them, they all had their own separate features.
Yeah.
So, but growing up around the different events and loving cars, I've just got to know different vehicles.
Yeah. We'll talk about this behind us, and I'm going to take some video here, but right now, just describe kind of front to back and inside, just what...
This, it's actually a replica of a 1934 Ford with a 3-inch chop, 3-window coupe. It's an all fiberglass body made by Street Beast, and the color is actually Dodge Inferno red.
Yeah.
It has a 350 Chev engine with a 4-speed Muncie on the back, and 8.8 Ford rear end under it, and the Mustang 2 front end.
Wow.
So.
And how did you come across that?
I actually found it.
Come on back in a little bit here. We're losing you. Yeah, there you go.
I moved back so you can see the car.
Yeah.
I actually found it in June of 2023 at a car show in Watford.
Oh, really?
And it was funny. We were sitting there, and I saw it drive in, and I said to my wife, I said, that is my dream car. That is exactly what I've always wanted, and the color is just perfect. Well, when the fella parked it, we got up to walk over and look at it, and there was a for sale sign laid on the running board.
Oh boy, look out.
And so I took pictures of it, and I took a picture of that for sale sign number. And my wife said, well, you have yours. If you don't try to sell yours to get that, you're going to kick yourself. So I hadn't thought about selling mine, but I did put it up for sale, and I did sell it.
And that was the 48?
48 Ford Super Deluxe
right.
Coupe. And as soon as it was sold, I made the phone call, and Alan still had the car, and we made a deal, and I now have my dream car.
Yeah. So cool, right?
Yeah.
And like, you weren't really looking, but you sort of were? Like, you weren't
I have always
looking all over Canada for one?
No, I wasn't even actually really looking.
Yeah.
I always wanted one, and And the car before this was a 48 Ford Super Deluxe that I actually had got lucky getting just by fluke. I come across it.
Right place,
And
right time.
actually, my father came across it and called me and asked, "Are you interested? Would you be interested in this car?" So I went and looked at it, made a deal on it, and just sitting at Watford Car Show, and this car come in, and it just caught my eye right off the bat, and always what I wanted, that 33, 34 Ford look, as I have always loved.
Yeah. And just, I think it's cool that, like, I know some of you guys, like, you'll get online and you'll be looking all over Canada, United States, looking for that car, and then here, it was just right here around us in Watford.
That's kind of actually funny, because I had a friend, Pat, come the day that I was going to pick it up, and he jumps in the truck. I've already had the trailer, everything hooked up. He goes, "So how far do we got to drive? An hour and a half?" And I kind of chuckled. I'm like, "It's a 12-minute drive."
Oh, you hadn't told him?
No, it was a 12-minute drive from our family farm.
Right.
to go and get it.
He thought he was going for a day trip.
Yep. Yeah, we were actually only going 12 minutes down and around the corner.
Right. Thanks for coming, Pat.
So
Cool. And then you're already doing it right now, but you're grinning ear to ear like that you got this thing.
Yes, I love this car.
Yeah.
Like I said, this has been my dream car.
Yeah. Is there any other car still, like, is there another one that you go, now if I could really get that one?
Not really, not right now.
Yeah, you've got the dream car.
Yeah, this is the one I've always wanted, and I kind of hated selling some of my others. I wish I could have had them all, but
yeah. Well, there's a big money thing in these cars,
Yes.
right? You know, you really got to save your pennies or your dollars, I guess I should say, right? And there's a lot goes into that. And so when you got this, what was the first thing that you worked on or improved or changed?
put gas in it and drove it.
That's it, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. You haven't done
I did
anything
have
to
a
it?
couple engine issues this year that I've fixed, and had a couple friends come out and help me big time on it.
Right.
But other than that, I've been lucky and just been enjoying it and cruising.
Yeah, right on.
So
Now she's parked for the winter.
she's parked till March.
Parked till March, yeah.
Yeah.
Why March? You don't.
We have, or actually there's been 5 of us that back in August we applied to Toronto Autorama.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which is a big show down in Toronto, indoor show in March, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And all 5 of us had, actually just this past Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, we were accepted and got our acceptance letters.
That's great. I saw. And it's what, a Motorama? Or Autorama?
Motorama.
Motorama, right, okay.
Toronto Motorama.
Right.
And
that's a big deal. Like, that's,
yes.
this is huge. Like, how many people apply to be a part of this?
I'm not sure, but I know the one video I watched on it, it's 300,000 square feet. There is 3, they actually have 3 halls that are full of cars, classic cars, race cars, trucks, some newer cars, and it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
And that I went down last year, just walked around, and it took me all day to walk around.
Sure it would.
So.
And is it a whole day? Is it just? It's not just one day. It's like
It's
a
3
week.
days.
It's 3 days. Yeah.
Yep, it's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event.
So what does this give you? You get a spot in like a certain section, or like what?
We will be, with 5 of us going from retro car events, we believe we are all together in one spot.
Okay, nice.
And just like a regular car show, but it's indoors on a higher scale.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of got some bragging rights going on there, I think. Right?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
I guess kind of a little bit. I'm just really excited for it.
Yeah.
Never thought I would have a car actually in it, and now I do.
You imagine the number of people you're gonna get to talk to. You'll have no voice left by the end of the 3 days.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So.
And people will get to appreciate the beauty that you've got here, and that's great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Can we mention who else got accepted?
Robin Marks with her Rambler, AMC Rambler. Rob Marks with his 70 Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Savo with I believe it's a 71 C10 pickup.
Okay.
And Dean Thomas with a 1965 Cadillac.
Yeah. So you guys are will you trailer these down then if it's
Yes,
March?
we'll
or-
be enclosed trailering
I would
them
think
down.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it turned out to be a really nice bright shiny
I will
day?
still trailer that.
Yeah.
That time of the year, there's still salt and that on the road,
That's true.
so I will
That's
trailer.
true. Yes. It's funny how we pay a little more attention to our cool cars than we do our daily
Dailies,
cars.
yes.
Right, daily cars, well, I just go drive anywhere we're gonna go. But
Yeah.
and then, so is there any like? Do you guys get like invited to any like special dinners, or do they do any special stuff?
I
yet?
don't know. This is the first
Yeah,
time for me,
yeah.
so it's going to be an all brand new experience.
Yeah. So
And
cool.
that,
So
so-
cool. And then obviously you'll stay overnight.
Yep, we've actually already booked our hotel rooms down
Of
there.
course you have. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
So-
And is your wife, is she going down with you?
Yes,
Will she
she's
be a
going
part of
down
that?
with me for the weekend.
And what about your brothers or your boy? Or they're just going to come
I
and
think
pay
they're
you a
go-
visit?
I think they're going to come down and pay me a visit
Yeah.
when we're there.
Yeah, that's
So.
nice. That's nice. Is there any car show that you haven't been to yet that maybe not even participating in, just going to like through the United States or anywhere you haven't been to yet, or you pretty much tapped them all?
It's kind of a car show, but more I would love to go to Barrett-Jackson in Scottsdale.
Oh, okay.
I've been to Barrett-Jackson in Vegas 3 times, but I would love to go to Scottsdale.
Yeah,
Their big one.
nice. You don't do any racing? You ever got into that kind of thing?
No, I was supposed to go to the Glenn Jackson Memorial Drag Race this year, but actually the car was broke and that, so I couldn't make it. That if I do that, would be the only one because that is actually for charity again.
Okay, right
So.
on. Okay, I have to ask a question, and you might be afraid to answer. How fast does she go? I don't think the police can come arrest you or anything.
It went fast enough that right after I got it, I wanted to see. I wasn't looking at the speedometer. I was watching where I was going, and
Right.
I got to the point that I backed off.
Yeah. Okay.
I was
fair
like,
enough.
okay, this is. I'm happy with this. I'm backing off.
Yeah. And
So.
burnouts? You done any of the burnouts?
Done it a couple times. I
Yeah.
tried to save my tires because of the cost of tires.
Well, I was going to say, like,
and cleaning the rubber off is.
I know. I see lots of guys and gals. Don't get me wrong, doing burnouts, and I think, man, I don't have the budget for that.
No.
But that's something that we do it in motorcycle world too. I got to do burnouts and make the thing smoke. And some guys,
Yeah.
that's a little different. They want to pop their tires, and I'm like, end of season maybe if I got to put new tires on. But then
Yeah.
you got to get a tow truck. And
Yeah, it
everything.
ends up
right?
costing actually quite a
Yeah,
bit. So.
yeah, that's right. How what's the furthest you've driven her though? Like out of town?
This past year, I went up to Kirkton, north of London,
Okay.
with
all
this
right.
car.
Yeah. And it was the when you talked about doing the dream drive. That was with the
That
coupe?
was with the 48 Ford
Yeah,
Coupe I had done.
yeah, okay.
I was hoping to do it this year with this one, but
Right. You did say that. Yeah.
it just didn't work out.
So what else when you're not doing cars? Like you said, you don't play sports. Do you watch sports? Do you have a team or anything like that?
I go
or-
Thursday nights. I'm usually during the off season. I can be found at Petrolia Arena watching. Actually, my nephew plays for the Petrolia Flyers.
Oh yeah.
So I try to make every home game for that. And Friday nights are the Petrolia Squires. I like going to watch,
Yeah, okay.
catch the odd Sting game.
Right.
And other than that, if I'm not at home with the wife, I'm probably in a friend's garage
Right.
and tinkering on a car or sitting having coffee.
So you're a hardcore Petrolia boy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. What do you like about Petrolia?
I've just been born and raised here. It's a smaller community. Everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just a welcoming town.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm guessing you've instilled that or tried to instill that in your boy.
I have.
Yeah.
So
And does he go to the games? Does he go with you?
he goes the odd time. Being 19, he's hanging out.
I'd say he's
Hanging
19.
out with his friends and kind of his mother and his stepmother, my wife, would probably say he takes after me, hanging out at Canatera.
Oh yeah.
Like we do in the summertime on
Yeah.
Thursday nights. He hangs,
know, right?
He hangs out up there with his friends and that. And
Yeah. That's become a real tradition in Sarnia. It's to Thursday night, go to the park.
Thursday night park nights has always been a big thing in the car community.
Yeah.
Over
Like,
the pretty well since 2019, just before COVID it started.
Yeah.
And during COVID, it was kind of a way we could get out. You still kept your 6 feet distance.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, but you got to still see the cars and
Yeah.
that. So
I know it was.
and then it's just carried on.
Yeah. Well, I just, even before car nights, I remember like we just, when I was in high school, we just hung out at the park.
Yep.
You know, and we would drive, and I don't understand it now. Well, I kind of do. We were trying to be cool in our parents' cars. We just drove around, and around, and around, park.
I remember
do it again.
before I had my license, I would go with my older brothers.
Yeah.
And that park would be full from one end to the other. And that's, yeah, you drive around, make 2-3 laps, you park for a little bit, and then jump back in the car and drive around again. Now it's come in and park and.
Right. But there's been some great turnouts there, Keith.
Yes.
Like, you know, like I've seen that park completely full one end to the other, and then people had to start parking just outside of the park to get in. Like, what do you think I mean, obviously the cool cars, but I mean, you go like, okay, well, I can go there every Thursday and see cool cars. Why is it always so busy?
Nice weather, you can see the cool car, and you're right on the beach. It's a beautiful park.
Yeah.
And it's just, I actually kind of, on a Thursday night, it's relaxing from a hard week of work.
Yes,
It's, you kind of forget about work, you go up, forget about work. It's a relaxing night and just sit and have fun with friends and chat and see how everybody else has done through the week.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's working on something or bought something new and they bring it out, it's always nice to see.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that I don't always stay in park, but I always do my best to just do a drive-through, because you always see a lot of the same cars, but there always seems to be a lot of different ones too. It's not just, it doesn't get stale.
I would say it's probably about 50-50.
Yeah, right.
You'll see about 50% of the same cars every week, but there's about 50% you'll see different every week.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of years, I know people from Strathroy have come. There's even some come from London on a Thursday night.
Yep.
Ridgetown, the Ridge Runners, they came up this past year on the one night. So.
And I know our friend, I'm drawing a blank. I call him Bill Sif. From Go Glass. Bill, like he's done some drone shots down there.
Yes.
And really shown that off.
Yeah, and he's got a beautiful Chevy pickup too that he brings up.
Yeah, what year is that? I love seeing
it's early 80s. I want to say it's about an 84, 85.
Yeah, okay.
If I'm correct.
And then shout out back to Go Glass. They do the kind of the cars and coffee thing.
Yes.
To support that community.
Ron Kennedy is a big part. He's got his Hearst Cutlass and beautiful looking car, and he brings it out on and off. And some other cars and coffees that are regular. Talk about who that is. Over the last couple of years, they've had cars and coffee at Automax, Park Lane, McFarland's in Petrolia here. Coffee Culture. Yeah. Usually Thursday nights after the park, we can be found at Global Donuts.
Oh yeah.
Out on London Line.
Okay.
And that. Sometimes we'll go to Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
And that.
And that's kind of like I've done that a couple of times. It was a couple of years ago, but it's kind of like the party after the party.
Yeah.
Like the social, like there's conversations that go on there at the park, and then there's a few kind of break off. You go do that thing, and then are you still talking about cars? Or are you talking politics? Or are you talking life? Or
talk a little
bit
about
and children and
everything. Usually everything.
Yeah.
Just depends on the night and where the conversation goes.
Yeah. Do you follow politics?
Not too much.
Yeah. Just what kind of when it's time to vote, you got to try to
watch it
out.
A little bit and.
Yeah.
Lots.
How do you? And we don't have to go down any rabbit holes, but I always like to ask my guests, like, as a community, as a country, like, how do you think we're doing?
I think we're doing fairly okay in our area. I do say some things need to be changed. And the one thing when it comes to voting, how I vote, I look at the candidates in our area and who I try to decide who's going to be the better candidate for our area.
Right.
And that's who I go with.
Yeah. That's fair. And well, because we have a different voting system, right? We don't vote for our prime minister.
No.
Do you think we should be able to do it that way, or we do it? Because there's pros and cons to how we do it.
kind of think maybe we should, because the way I see it, the votes in Toronto, because of how many are there, kind of almost decide who's going to get in.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always kind of looked at it as who's running in our area, who's the better option for us, and are they going to be good for us, and that's who I go with.
Yeah, cool. And in Petrolia, like, you know, I was, like, my van says promoting Sarnia Lambton. I probably should say promoting Lambton County. There's a lot that gets forgotten in Lambton County, like Grand Bend, for example, is in Lambton County, but nobody ever thinks of that. Do you feel like Sarnia and surrounding areas are staying connected well enough?
I think they are, but there is some things out around this area that people don't realize. And going back to the trivia cruise, that's what part of those stops are going to be, different things in the community that people don't realize we have right here that are close. A couple things just off the top of my head. The first oil well in North America is in Oil Springs.
Yeah.
And then we have the Petrolia discovery in Petrolia. Yeah. And people don't realize that, whether it be they've just moved here or growing up here but lived in Sarnia and never really been out around the community other than driving to go somewhere. Yeah. And that there is actually a lot of stuff in our area. Yeah. That for families.
Got the lawn tractor racing still out here too.
Yes,
those
just
guys,
actually down the road, and
Yeah.
the races of the lawnmowers and that, and then the fall time, all the fall fairs and the tractor pulls. And
yeah. So that's a part of what you're doing with that trivia then, is trying to showcase
areas
Lambton
around
County.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that I can keep within a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
And that I'm hoping it will turn into an annual thing, and each year will be a different route. So then each year there'll be a different area you would see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you need sponsors for that, do you? Or are you still looking for sponsors?
We are.
Now's your time to ask.
We are still looking for sponsors and donations for prizes to give out for the correct trivia questions, and that depending on how many you get right, there will be draws that you'll be given to the amount of tickets when you register for draws, and then you can get more tickets by the correct answers.
Yeah, right.
And then you'll be able to put it into the prizes that you would like to win.
Now, beyond the June 1st, do you thinking of other events with retro car events?
There will be other events. I don't really want to say what they are right now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But
there's more coming.
But yes, we are working on other events.
You'll probably announce that at June 1st.
June 1st, and there will probably maybe be some announcements before.
Yeah, okay.
And that.
Right.
But we were ready to announce the trivia cruise and that, so we let it out to allow people to start planning.
Yeah. It's already in my calendar, so I'm excited for that.
Hoping it'll be a good day.
Yeah. What else is there about, I find Petrolia is really, and I lived here for a couple of years when I was a younger boy, but I'm not from Petrolia, I'm a Sarnia boy, but like, it's a real community oriented spot too, right? Like, you know, I know Sarnia really comes together in time of need.
And
Petrolia's
Petrolia
like that too,
yes.
right?
And the surrounding area.
Yeah. Where does that come from, do you think?
I'm not too sure. It's just, I think that's how it's always been around here. Probably going back to when they found oil.
Right.
And that.
Right.
And always kind of be nice to your neighbors, and you scratch a neighbor's back, they'll scratch your back. And kind of in the car community, you help one and you need help, they come and help you.
Yeah, right. What about traveling, like outside of with the car? Do you like to do any traveling?
Me and the wife usually try to go away once a year.
Yeah.
And that, I actually do have a trip booked for this year.
Oh yeah, where are you going?
Going to Antigua.
Antigua? Where's that? I've heard that.
Just down in the Caribbean.
Okay, all right. I failed geography. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it's just north of Cuba or south of Cuba. It's a little island, only 108 square miles.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of funny because if you know the size of Enniskillen Township,
right,
that is 160 square miles.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the island itself would fit in Enniskillen Township.
That's funny.
So go down, try at least one for a week once a year through the winter.
Yeah, just the two of you?
Actually, we go with a big group of us.
Oh, okay.
I do farm drainage for a living.
Right.
And it's through that we go, and there's about 140 people, but we're all parts of different sides of the drainage.
Right.
And you're there all together, but you do your own thing.
Do your own thing as well.
And that.
Yeah,
So.
nice. Well, I got to tell you, this is really cool to be sitting in this garage and just being close to this thing. Like I've been closer to it, seeing you at car shows, but it's really its own personality, right? Do you have a name for it or anything like that?
I haven't thought of a name for it yet.
No.
Did think maybe Crimson, but
okay.
just because of the color, but I hadn't decided. A lot of people, when they see it, they call it ZZ.
Well, because of the ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
Yeah.
It is identical to
the Eliminator.
Eliminator. So.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll be honest, every time I open up that door and walk in here, I
Yeah.
smile.
You don't got the hot girls climbing out of the car?
No. Only when the wife's with me and she goes to climb out.
She knows it's okay, right? Good answer. See what I tried to do there? But Keith, thank you so much, my friend. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and I appreciate you sharing the stories. So now it's your turn to click the like and the love and the share button so we can share Keith's story and everybody else that gets to be here on the show. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better week, and we'll see you next time right here on the show. Vroom, vroom. Bye for now.